Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Leslie Greer from Entertainment Fanatic Reviews, back with another review, and today I'm talking about 2019's Joker. And also, I'm joined by one of my best friends, Justin Lomas from JJ Lomas Entertainment. So, quick story before I get into the review. Initially, I did not really care for this film. I was expecting something different from this film. It is a character study slash psychological thriller, but I was expecting like a Joker type film, like the character we all know and love. And I was expecting the origin story, which it is an origin story, but it is a lot different from what you expect, which in other adaptations, with Jack Nicholson and a few others, you just threw them in a vat of acid or chemical waste. And this one, you just threw Arthur Fleck and society. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this one. So yeah, let's get started. So, like I said before, I am joined by Justin Lomas from JJ Lomas Entertainment, and you'll hear his thoughts later on. So, like I've stated before, with other interpretations of the Joker, you threw them in a vat of acid slash chemical waste. This one, you just threw Arthur Fleck in society, which is enough to drive one person crazy, to be honest. But the lighting, cinematography, and long shots are a sight to see and really add to the viewing experience, and the fact that I own it on 4K makes it a lot better. The music in here is very unsettling and does make you feel emotions that you haven't felt in years, which is really eerie, and just this whole film in general makes me uncomfortable and unsettled. Some scenes you really are invested with Arthur Fleck, others not so much, but it doesn't really take you out of the film except for a few scenes that do drag on a little bit. So this is the fourth or fifth time that I watched it, and I've had my own ideas and speculations on what this film is trying to convey, so therefore I'm going to give the plot, story, and direction a 4 out of 5. It is a tale that we've, known to come with other films, but it does it so well with Joaquin Phoenix's performance that, you just can't go by and ignore it. So for Killsborne Effects, while this film isn't particularly gory, there are a lot of scenes that are really intense and just have you on the edge of your seat. But when Arthur Fleck kills someone, it is something that just stays in your mind for a few days, if not weeks on end. My favorite scene that involves the Killsborne Effects is when Arthur's friends come to check on him later on the film, which I will show a clip of that here in a second. And also the ending to this film, which has pretty much become a meme to this point. 2 or 3 of the scenes have already, so spoilers. When Arthur goes in the Murray Franklin show, that's another sight to see. It's one of my favorite standout scenes as well. But like I said, there's not that much gore, but they do make up for it with the intensity of the scene, so therefore I'm going to give the Killsborne Effects another 4 out of 5. So here's a highlight of the film. The acting all across the board is really well done, but no one really holds a candle to Joaquin Phoenix because he's the focus of this film and is the driving force of this film. He's in mostly every scene, if not every scene. Like, the performances range from really good to brilliant, so I'm not knocking anybody for that. It's just the fact that you have one standout character in here and he stands out among the rest, that it's a sight to see, to be honest. So therefore I'm going to give the acting a 4.5 out of 5. So with the ending and finale, you see that Arthur Fleck goes on the Murray Franklin show, which they pretty much take him on the show to make fun of him and, his video that was broadcasted on the news and everywhere else. So Arthur pretty much has enough of the abuse and the torture and the lack of sympathy from everyone else. So he just, leading up to it, you see that he's probably going to commit suicide on the Murray Franklin show, but instead, spoilers, he kills Murray Franklin instead. And then after that, he gets taken in a police car, and then some of his rioters that look up to him break him out of the police car, and then it shows another scene where he's dancing on the police car, and everyone's just cheering him on. But then there's another scene that's been in so many other Batman films, where Thomas Wayne and his wife get murdered right in front of Bruce Wayne. So, it's sort of like they forgot to put in that scene, and at the last minute they're like, oh yeah, we gotta do this, and that's pretty much what they did. But then after that, you see that Arthur, or Joker, is in the Arkham Asylum, and it's really cool how they do that. And there's this one shot to where, like, he thinks of a joke, but then his psychiatrist says, you know, do you want to tell me? And he's pretty much like, you wouldn't get it. And then right there with that music cue, you think that the film would end, but no, it leads into another scene to where he's just running off the hallway with bloody footprints, and you think that he kills the psychiatrist. But then I think that the film would have ended perfectly if, you know, it ends on where he says, you wouldn't get it. That would have ended perfectly. And if they didn't include the scene where Bruce Wayne's parents get murdered right in front of him, that would have been great too. You know, the imagery would have been nice where he thinks about the joke, but I don't care to see Thomas Wayne and his wife get murdered, because I've seen that so many times in other adaptations. But before I give you my final thoughts on this film, I'll leave the spotlight to Justin Lomas from JJ Lomas Entertainment. So take it away, dude.
How about another joke, Esley? Yo, dude, super stoked to be back on your channel. Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say, I'm getting to see this guy later this month. I can't wait. He specifically wanted me to be on this review for Todd Phillips's Joker. And I'm sorry to embarrass you, man. I couldn't resist throwing this costume on for our review. A little while back, I did it up 100%, but maybe when the world calms down, I can sport this look at a convention, finally. So full spoilers with this one, right? From the start, dude, I was on board with this film 100%. An R-rated take on the Joker, grounded in reality, set outside the DCEU, and it's its own contained story. Hell yeah. I know a lot of my friends, though, were really skeptical when they saw the first trailer, because it didn't seem like they were basing this Joker off of any comic book iteration before, and that's what I liked about it. Do your own thing. People were skeptical as hell about this movie, too, because of the director, Todd Phillips. I mean, he mainly focused on comedic films before. But hey, it's not the first time we've seen someone succeed with a darker tone or just a dramatic movie. Look at Peter Farrelly with Green Book. Now, he did Dumb and Dumber before. What a dramatic change for this guy. Think about it. Comedic timing is about building, setting up a joke. So you gotta figure, jokes need to be grounded in some sort of seriousness first, right? I'm not even gonna beat around the bush though. Joaquin Phoenix playing Arthur Fleck was probably, no, it is my favorite iteration of Joker to date. Because usually what comic book movies do is they focus on the hero. This one is taking our familiar DC baddie but painting him in a relatable way. Arthur got mistreated and ignored day after day until all of that anger and rage and frustration built up. He just snapped. I mean, hey, I've gotten to that point before too. I didn't kill anyone or anything like that because of it, but have y'all ever been in a situation where all of your anger and rage just keeps building and building until you end up saying something or doing something just because you're in the heat of the moment? Making this guy very relatable was so important. Come to think of it though, if I'm really relating to the Joker, am I the bad guy? But that's the question director Todd Phillips asks the audience, and I love that. Everything about this film, the color palette, the soundtrack, the wardrobe, and even the way the movie was shot represented the early 1980s perfectly. My opinion of the Batman aspect though, well, obviously Bruce Wayne is a little kid in this film, so he's not Batman yet, but Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne of course are both in this movie, and they're used sparingly enough to where it doesn't take away from Arthur's rise to power. Hell, even that ending scene with Thomas and Martha Wayne being shot and killed by one of Joker's followers, I felt like they did it in a way where it wasn't tiring because we've seen his origin story so many times. Right after his parents got shot, boom, it just cut back to Joker. It didn't show Bruce crying, didn't show him screaming on the ground or what happened to him next. No, this is a Joker movie. Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, Francis Conroy, don't get me wrong. They all do fantastic in this film, but Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, he's just brilliantly haunting in this. I could go on for hours about his performance in this movie, but I'll just say this. He won that Academy Award for Best Actor for a reason. Also, having a condition that causes Arthur uncontrollable laughter, I mean, whoever thought of that was a damn genius. And really getting into the mental health aspect of it just made it that more realistic. Best scene though, and I know this is the best scene for a lot of people, when Joker's on the steps dancing and stuff like that to the Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2. I think after using that song in this film, no one's ever going to think of that song again as just the football song. It's going to be the Joker song, and it probably is already. Esley, man, I don't want to make this review an hour long and take up all of your time, so I'll just make it short and sweet. Joker is the best DC comic book film I've ever seen. It has a ton of rewatchability too, and this appealed to the masses, you know, like the people who love those thriller movies, gangster movies, stuff like that, because tons of my friends who don't even like comic book films and superheroes love this movie. The serious tone, blended with a light bit of dark comedy and the use of practical effects, made Todd Phillips' Joker the perfect 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this guy here soon. I'm going to see him in a few days, which I'm really excited for that. And I want to thank you so much for taking part in this collab video, which I've known this guy since pretty much the beginning, so make sure to go subscribe to his channel. So the main question I usually ask is, would I watch it again? And to be honest, I don't want to watch it anytime soon. This is my 4th or 5th time watching it, and it does get better with each viewing, but it isn't a feel-good film, and it's just leaves you unsettled, and it makes you feel uncomfortable for, you know, a few days after watching it. It stays with you. That's how messed up this film is, but it is a really good film. I sort of categorize it with like the likes of American History X and a few other films to where like they're really good films, but I don't want to watch them again, or at least for another few years, because whew, it's very unpleasant. And so therefore I'm going to give Joker a rating of an 88%. Some people say it's not high enough, but to be honest, like I said, there's a few scenes that drag, and there's a few scenes they could have took out, and you know, there's other times where like he's laughing and he laughs for like 30-45 seconds, and I'm like, okay, come on. I mean, I get it with his character, you know, it's mental disorder, but I could have done without all those laughing scenes, because some of them felt really unnecessary, but I don't know. And a few scenes that take place towards the end are I'm not a fan of, but yeah, 88% for Joker. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and make sure to go subscribe to Justin's channel because he's a really awesome guy. And so I'll see you guys next time. Peace.